Hey crew, just watch this Overload champion and this Barrier champion go down in seconds. This is the best build I have played with so far, and it really just blows my mind. The gameplay you are watching is of the 1350 Master Nightfall this week, and every single champion we come up against during this Nightfall just get absolutely bullied and destroyed. Most of them don't even get to fire off a single shot at us, which is just absolutely crazy. I also think this build will work pretty close to the same in Grandmasters, and I can't wait to test that out for you guys. This build combines so many different mods, so make sure to pay attention to them when we get to that section, because we use the new Elemental Shard mod that just dropped yesterday at the Compass in the Helm, so make sure to go pick that up. Also, pay attention to the aspects and fragments, as they are doing just as much to make it where we have a super for every champion we come up against, and also providing us with health regeneration and overshields, which is why you see my two fire team members running around cloaked in blue most of the time. You guys know what the exotic weapon does. We'll go over it briefly, and also pay attention to the exotic armor, because that just adds that much more to our survivability with this build. If you guys do enjoy this video or found it helpful, then please hit that subscribe button for me and become part of the crew here. Also, if you could leave a like on the video, that really helps it out. And if you have any questions or concerns, leave them down in the comments and I will answer them for you as best as I can. I'm very good about answering comments, as you can see in my previous videos, so leave them for me. Also, in the pinned comment down below, there will be a link to our Discord and to my Twitch channel. So join the Discord and follow me over on Twitch. We will be doing a lot of trials help this weekend on the Twitch channel. So if you want to go follow us and get to that lighthouse and get some sweet loot, make sure to drop by the Twitch and come on over there and say hi. Okay, so let's go over the aspects and the fragments that you want to have on your stasis subclass. Also, as you saw in the gameplay, make sure that you have Dustfield Grenade on. It's the best grenade for the hunter. And have Gambler's Dodge on. So every time you dodge near an enemy, you get a full melee charge back, which is your shuriken. For our first fragment, we want Whisper of Chains. While you are near frozen targets or a friendly stasis crystal, you take reduced damage from targets. Our second fragment is Whisper of Rhyme. Collecting a stasis shard grants a small amount of overshield, which falls off after 10 seconds. Collecting additional shards adds to the overshield and refreshes the timer. Also, if you don't have, let's say you're half health, it'll regen health instead of giving you an overshield, which is nice. We have Whisper of Bonds as our third fragment. Defeating frozen targets grants you super energy. And then our fourth fragment is Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards track to your position. We have two aspects that we're using. We're using Grim Harvest. Defeating slowed or frozen combatants creates stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy and can be picked up by you and your fire team, which is very nice. This allows 2 fragment slots, which are, we can slot 2 of the fragments that I already went over. And then our second aspect is Touch of Winter. The main reason we're using this aspect is just to get the 2 fragment slots. Our exotic of choice is Aegir's Scepter, of course, because we're freezing everything and getting that super bonus off the freeze. You can get the catalyst for this weapon by doing astral alignments, and you need to make sure to open the last chest so you can have a chance for the catalyst to drop. That way you can overcharge the weapon with the catalyst and create that huge beam that does a lot of damage. And that's going to stack with our stasis damage as well. Our exotic armor is Assassin's Cowl. We have Vanishing Execution here. Powered melee final blows grants invisibility and restores a portion of health and shields. Finishers and final blows against more powerful targets increase the duration of this invisibility and the amount of health and shields you restore. Finishing a champion is a complete heal and 15 seconds of invisibility. Okay, so let's go over these mods and make sure to pay attention to them all and set this up correctly, because if you don't, you're going to be losing out on a lot of potential for this build. On our helmet here, we have Melee Wellmaker. Powered melee combat and final blows spawn an elemental well matching your subclass energy type. This spawns with the shurikens that we have unlimited of. We ran double trace rifle ammo finder as well. On our gauntlets here, we have Fire and Ice. Defeating a champion spawns a random array of solar and stasis wells. That's all the wells you see that pop up from the champions. We have Thermoclastic Blooming. Defeating a combatant with a solar or stasis melee creates an orb of power. So we're making an orb of power with our shurikens. We have Overload Bow. We don't need Overload Bow. You don't even need to have a bow on, as you saw in the gameplay, but we have it just in case, and we have a bow on just in case. For our chest piece here, we have Fawn of Might. Very important. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants temporary weapon damage boost for the same type. That's a 10-second damage boost. You always have this going because we're always grabbing stasis wells. We're always grabbing stasis shards that count as stasis wells. So you'll always have this damage boost, and that's what gives us a really big damage boost against champions. Sniper damage resistance on our chest piece as well. Trace rifle reserves. On our boots here, we have elemental shards. This is a new mod that, for whatever reason, just came out on the 23rd. So if you're watching this video, it was yesterday, I believe. These are stasis shards, count as stasis elemental wells for you. Does not apply to Crucible, Trials, or Iron Banner. But the shards are still up, so we're getting all the benefits for collecting the shard, but then it also is counting as a well, and getting all the benefits for it is counting as a well, which is awesome. We have Trace Rifle Scavenger, of course, because we have to make sure we always have Trace Rifle ammo. We have Orbs of Restoration here. Picking up an Orb of Power grants a small amount of energy to your ability with the least energy. On our cloak here, Well of Potency. Picking up a matching elemental well grants you super energy. We're picking up a ton of stasis wells, and our shards, stasis shards, count as wells. We have Resonant Siphon, gain stasis ability energy whenever you or a member of your fire team stuns a champion. This is how we can continuously have shurikens and grenades available because of Resonant Siphon. And then Thermoclastic Strike, solar and stasis melees disrupt combatants. This is strong against overloads. And every time that you stun an overload champion, it refreshes your melee ability. So this also gives us our melee back, and we're getting extra from Resonant Siphon. So as you can see, we have 3 mods here from the artifact on our cloak. We have 3 mods here from the artifact on our helmet. If you don't need trace rifle ammo finders, you can slot hands on, but that's just overkill. As you see in the video and the clips, we literally had a super for every champion we came up against. So this is just overkill. With the subclass that we already went over, you're getting super energy from defeating the frozen targets with Whisper of Bonds. You're getting super energy from the extra orbs of power you create with Thermoclastic Blooming. You're getting super energy from Well of Potency for picking up shards and wells. So there's so much going on with all these different mods that it just turns this build into an absolute beast. I believe this is the best build I've ever played with so far. Now, I haven't been able to try it in a Grandmaster and test it in a Grandmaster, but I'm pretty sure it will work the exact same way, and maybe I'll actually use my heavy, right? Or actually use the bow a little bit more, right? So we're going to play with it, mess around with it in Grandmasters when they come out in about 2 weeks, and we'll see how it performs in there. But it is by far the best one that I've played with personally. It rivals the Warlock build, and it's definitely stronger than the Warlock build, than Stasis Turrets, but we'll have to see in the Grandmaster if it can compete with the crowd control of the Stasis Turrets in the Grandmaster. So that's still to be determined, but I think it might be able to as long as you get the stun on the Overload. Up on screen here in a second, there's going to be a few videos you guys have not seen. If you have not seen them, click on them, go give them a watch. I'll really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.